The enemy is exposed. Archangel Michael says, the person blocking your blessing have been identified. The truth is inside. My beloved child, this moment is not ordinary. This exact second has been chosen because the realm above finally decided it is time you see the real truth that was hidden behind your delays. You think you were just unlucky, or timing was bad, or maybe your manifestation was just not aligned. No, something darker, something strategic, something plemo, silently standing in the path of what was meant to be yours. And today it gets exposed because Archangel Michael says, the enemy is not a stranger. The enemy is not someone far away. The enemy is someone who spoke to you with care. Someone who acted like they supported you. Someone who acted like they understood what you were praying for. But behind your back, their jealousy burned stronger than fire. They were threatened by your light. They were bothered by how fast your blessings were aligning. They were scared that the miracle you were stepping into would place you ahead of them forever. This person wanted control over your destiny outcome. They loved the idea of being the one who always had more than you. They wanted to be the person others admired more. They wanted to always be the one who is chosen, not you. They could never digest that heaven placed a sealed prophecy on your soul that is bigger than anything they could ever access. And the moment they realized that your blessing was real, they started silently blocking it. Not through spells, not through physical actions, but through intended energy and emolument of blame. They knew exactly what to say to make you doubt yourself. They knew the exact words that could make you hesitate, delay, postpone, freeze. They knew which memories could be triggered inside you so that you lose confidence at the last second. They knew how to silently drain the strength you get when you are finally about to break through. You kept thinking your delay was due to divine testing. But heaven reveals the delay was because someone close to you wanted to win against you without ever playing fair. There is a person who acted sweet in front of you. They gave supportive words. But inside their inner world, they never wanted to see you succeed first. They wanted your blessing to arrive late. They wanted your miracle to be postponed. They wanted your destiny to slow down just enough for them to catch up. They wanted you to always remain almost there. They wanted you stuck in the waiting phase forever. This person pretended to be safe, but they fed on your vulnerability. They fed on your confusion. They fed on your emotional sensitivity. They fed on your insecurities and made sure your next decision always took longer than it should. They wanted you tired. They wanted you stuck. They wanted you distracted. They wanted you doubting your own power. But heaven says they made a mistake today because today they must crack. Heaven says when some mask cracks it can never return to perfect. Today is the day the real identity is being shown to you in the spirit realm. And the reason you are hearing this message is because heaven wants you to recognize the disconnect between how they present themselves and who they truly are behind the scenes. This person is the same person who always asks you how you are doing but never tells you what they are going through because they want your information to use against you, but they never want to reveal anything that can make them weak or open. They only take, they never give. This person is the same person who gives very knuckle reactions to your achievements. They never get excited when something good happens for you. They go quiet. They change the topic. They reduce the energy immediately. This person loves when you fail privately. This person loves when you doubt publicly. This person loves when you think nothing is working. Because that is when they feel powerful over you. But heaven has stepped in now. Heaven decided that your blessings cannot remain blocked anymore, just because someone wanted to keep you small, so they felt bigger. Archangel Michael says, this year before it ends, the enemy's influence over your path must be broken fully. Not partially. Destiny cannot be delayed anymore just because someone else wanted to hold your potential hostage. You are not entering a normal season. You are entering a justice season, a reversal season. A divine exposure season. The reason you survived all those silent attacks was because heaven was protecting your blessing until the time came for the trap to be revealed. Now is that time. This person will start acting strange with you soon. They will start slipping with their words. They will start showing their real intentions without realizing they are exposing themselves. They will start getting uncomfortable when you start winning. They will start getting irritated when you talk faith. They will start feeling threatened when you start speaking like someone who already carries victory inside, because heaven is shifting the power balance. Everything they kept blocked starts clearing. Everything they kept restricted starts opening. Everything they thought they could prevent, heaven is accelerating directly in your life now. You were never losing time. You were being prepared to see the truth clearly. Because once the truth is seen, it can never be unseen. Your blessing is not something small. Your blessing is something that will change the way people look at you forever. Your blessing is something that will transform your identity permanently. Your blessing is something that heaven protected because it was too sacred to be given to you in the presence of the wrong people. You will witness something soon that will confirm this message so strongly that you will never again doubt what heaven told you today. The shift begins the moment you understand that the enemy does not win by fighting loud. They win by fighting silent. But heaven wins by revealing them at the perfect time when exposure hurts them the most. And this is that season. Watch next, Revelation. Every chapter of your life up until this moment has been preparing the inside of you for what heaven is sending next. Not the outside, not the service, not the image you show others, but the internal strength, clarity, intuition, and divine alignment you carry inside your soul. This is why the exposure that is happening now is not just about identifying someone who was blocking your blessing. It is about locking you into the version of yourself who never again allows hidden sabotage to mix with destiny. The person who blocked you never realized heaven made you absorb their betrayal as fuel. They believe their manipulation would weaken you. They believe their interference would slow you permanently. But instead, it made you spiritually unshakable. The enemy in your story was trying to destroy belief, because once a believer truly believes what heaven already promised, no force on earth can reverse it. So they targeted that one part inside you. The part that always doubted the timing. The part that always feared disappointment. The part that always assumed maybe you were asking for too much. The part that felt guilty for wanting word. They targeted your belief because they knew that shaking belief shakes manifestation. They knew that delaying belief delays breakthrough. They knew that confusing belief confuses direction. But what they did not know was heaven was watching every single psychological trap they were trying to plant inside you, and heaven has receipts. Archangel Michael says there are no silent enemies in this new season. Every mask must fall. Everyone pretending to love you but secretly hoping you remain small must be removed from your path. Everyone who thinks they control your destiny timing is about to discover they were never even close to the final decision. Everyone who fed off your hesitation is about to starve spiritually because heaven is cutting their access to your energy permanently. You will not walk into this next season with the same hearts around you that kept you stuck in the past one. The enemy used delay tactics, but delay tactics only work on someone who still needs outside validation to move forward. But you are not the same version of you anymore. You are now someone who has learned how to believe even when there is no evidence yet. You are now someone who has learned how to stand firm even when there is no support yet. You are now someone who has learned how to continue even when there is no applause yet. You are now someone who has learned how to recognize spiritual traps even before they begin forming. That alone terrifies the enemy more than anything else because now your eyes are open. You will notice that in the next few days someone will suddenly become uncomfortable with your confidence. Someone will suddenly shift their behavior around you. Someone will suddenly act like they need space. Someone will suddenly talk less. Someone will suddenly respond late. Someone will suddenly seem irritated when they see you in alignment. They will feel like they are losing grip. They will feel like they are losing control. They will feel like their silent advantage has been destroyed. Because once heaven enters, sabotage collapses. Your blessing was never blocked because heaven doubted you. Your blessing was blocked because heaven needed you to no longer doubt yourself. Because the biggest sabotage this enemy did was not external. He was internal. They planted emotional fear. They planted self-doubt. They planted hesitation. They planted insecurity. And that is what heaven is destroying. First, Archangel Michael says, you are entering a season where your name will start aligning with miraculous outcomes. I expected favor to prize opportunities, doors opening faster than you can process, timelines accelerating even when logic says they shouldn't. You will step into rooms you never expected. You will receive chances others never believed you deserved. You will become impossible to ignore, and the same person who secretly wanted you stuck will watch you rise in ways even they cannot explain. But this time you are rising with full awareness of who needs distance. This time you are rising with the understanding that not everyone deserves access to every part of you. This time you are rising with the understanding that presence matters more than numbers. This time you are rising with the understanding that energy alignment is wealth. This time you are rising with the understanding that heaven chooses people to witness your next level not based on history but based on purity of intention. Someone close to you was occupying space they did not deserve. Someone close to you was consuming energy they did not earn. Someone close to you was trying to mentally manage your destiny direction through emotional influence. But now that heaven exposed them, the spiritual contract between you and them dissolves. You are entering a timeline where heaven will guide you to speak less to the wrong people and attract more alignment with the right ones. Where heaven will protect your silence. Where heaven will amplify your intuition. where heaven will block anyone who tries to interfere again. Where heaven will put divine speed behind everything meant for you. And this time you finish what you start. You were delayed but you were not denied. You were slow but you were not stopped. You were challenged but you were not defeated. You were tested but you were not broken. Heaven delays what is holy until the environment matches the weight of the blessing. And now the environment is shifting. The vibration is shifting. The field around you is shifting. This world is about to see what happens when heaven restores everything that was stolen emotionally, spiritually, energetically, financially, and mentally. And the person who tried to block your blessing will realize they were never strong enough to fight a destiny that was built by heaven itself. Before part 3 begins, listen carefully. This is your official spiritual confirmation that your timeline is entering acceleration mode now. The enemy cannot follow you there. The enemy cannot block you there. The enemy cannot delay you there. The enemy cannot influence you there. That realm is protected. That realm is reserved. That realm is sealed. That realm is divine territory. Only heaven has access there and you are about to step into it. Share this message. Comment your name on this video. Subscribe because the next parts are going to shift your life completely. Don't skip. My beloved child, this part begins in a different frequency. Because now we are stepping into the moment where the hidden spiritual activity around your life becomes clear. Frame by frame, layer by layer, revelation by revelation. The exposure of the enemy is already in motion. But this part is where heaven begins to show you why this enemy was so obsessed with stopping you. It was not because they hated you. It was not because they wanted you to fail. It was because they feared what would happen if you fully realize who you are at your core. They feared what would come into existence the moment you believe yourself without doubt. They feared what levels of manifestation and power you would activate if you saw yourself the way heaven sees you. This person never wanted you awakened because once a chosen one becomes awakened, destiny becomes unstoppable. Once alignment is formed between intention, spirit and divine order, doors open like automatic motion sensors. Blessings chase you. Miracles do not negotiate time anymore. They arrive on command. This enemy knew that your life was designed to flip into rapid transformation the moment belief stabilizes inside you. And they were terrified of losing their silent control over your emotional decisions. They knew your heart with a gateway to your future. And they tried to manage your heart through psychological undermining. There were days you felt empty for no reason. There were nights you felt anxious without understanding why. There were random moments where your confidence suddenly dropped and you did not understand where that feeling came from. Those were not coincidences. Those were not mind tricks. Those were not random emotional swings. Those were spiritual interference wave patterns created to weaken the moment where breakthrough starts building momentum inside you. It wanted to intercept your divine build-up phase because manifestation happens before physical arrival, and they felt that shift coming before you did. This is why heaven is stepping in heavy now. Archangel Michael says this is the season where clarity becomes your greatest armor. The exposure is not happening so you can be angry. The exposure is happening so you can detach emotionally, because once emotional attachment breaks, sabotage loses power automatically. This person only had power because you cared. They only had access because you trusted. They only had influence because you opened your heart to them. But heaven is now sealing your emotional vulnerability from manipulation. And you are about to see the difference between real support and strategic presence. Because real support carries activation energy that pushes you forward. Fake support carries stagnation energy that keeps you circling the same chapters, repeatedly. You are not entering another cycle. You are exiting a cycle permanently. This is why everything inside you feels like something huge is about to release. Because this is the part where heaven moves the line between waiting and receiving. This is the crossover point. This is the shift moment. And once this shift locks, it cannot be reversed. Someone secretly wanted you to always come to them for reassurance. Someone wanted to always be the one your emotions depended on. Someone wanted your confidence to rely on their approval. Someone enjoyed the hidden power they felt whenever you doubted your next step, because it allowed them to feel smarter, stronger, more in control than you. They wanted to be the filter between you and your destiny path. They wanted you to need them even when you were capable without them. But heaven did not give anyone the authority to be your emotional authority. Heaven gave no one permission to hold your destiny hostage. And heaven is reclaiming full control, back into divine alignment, because your blessing was not created through human opinion. It was created through heavenly command, and heavenly command cannot be paused by human jealousy. You are about to notice a massive shift inside your voice. Your inner tone will become more firm. Your intuition will become louder. Your sense of direction will become clearer. Your decisions will become faster. Your boundaries will become stronger. Your emotional sensitivity will become more selective. These inner strength upgrades are confirmation that heaven is activating your next level identity inside you. You will feel a sudden increase in courage, a sudden increase in self-respect, a sudden increase in inner peace, a sudden increase in clarity over who deserves access and who does not. You will no longer waste energy on people who drain you. You will no longer explain yourself to people who do not understand you. You will no longer wait for approval from people who never wanted you to rise anyway. This is where heaven locks your focus on your purpose. One thing about chosen ones that the enemy always underestimated: every pain becomes fuel. Every betrayal becomes direction. Every delay becomes mastery. Every setback becomes wisdom. They thought you would break. They did not expect you to become powerful in silence. Your silence was not weakness. It was preparation. When heaven kept you quiet, it was not because heaven was ignoring you. It was because heaven was building you. The chosen are trained differently. You were being shaped for a blessing that exceeds logic. This is not a small miracle. This is not a normal shift. This is not a regular upgrade. This is a destiny-defining manifestation window that opens once in a lifetime. The enemy tried to block this very moment because they sensed this season would rewrite your story permanently. The enemy knows this blessing is not just an event. It is not temporary. It is not limited. It is not surface level. This blessing is identity level. This blessing is generational. This blessing is a timeline flip. This blessing is a divine rebuilding of who you are on earth. Even heaven angels are standing guard around this prophecy because the weight of what is coming is something your lineage hath been waiting for. Someone in your ancestry prayed for this breakthrough, but they could not complete the cycle. You are the completion point. You are the one chosen to finalize what others started but could not finish. And the enemy knew that if you completed it, entire chains would break backward and forward in your bloodline. This is why they wanted you stuck. This is why they wanted you slow. This is why they wanted you doubting. This is why they wanted you drained. Because if you ever reached alignment, then destiny would activate unstoppable momentum. And now you have reached alignment. And heaven is accelerating your path so fast that the same enemy who tried to block you will not even be able to process your speed. Loving is in pause mode anymore. Everything begins moving now. Watch next revelation. My beloved child, this part begins with the moment heaven puts a spiritual line on the ground and says this far they went but now no further. The reason this part holds so much power is because this is where your internal energy, your inner identity, your destiny alignment and your spiritual frequency become synchronized in one direction only. Forward, not backward, not sideways, not paused, not delayed, forward. This is the transition part. This is the place where you cross into reversible manifestation flow. This is the point where every hidden sabotage clears throat, loses legal permission to interact with your path. And now the enemy who operated in silence begins losing oxygen in your story because your awareness is now awake. Your soul sees clearly. Your spirit is activated. Your discernment is sharp. And heaven knows you are ready to walk into the season that belongs to you. Archangel Michael says, there are certain blessings that cannot manifest when the heart is divided between trust and confusion. There are certain doors that cannot open when there is emotional attachment with those who don't want you to rise. There are certain manifestations that cannot land when your identity is still influenced by someone who secretly prayed you remain below them. And for a long time, heaven did not expose this enemy because heaven wanted you to be able to identify the energy signature yourself. Because once a chosen one learns to identify wrong energy source without needing outside confirmation, they become spiritually independent. They become spiritually sovereign. They become spiritually unbreakable. And that exact moment is happening right now inside your soul. Everything you were ever told about waiting was not wasted time. It was preparation time. It was inner strengthening time. It was alignment time. Heaven was not keeping you from your blessing. Heaven was keeping your blessing away from sabotage. Heaven was waiting until the enemy showed the real heart. Heaven was waiting until your intuition matured enough so that when exposure came, you did not get emotionally manipulated again. This is why in this part you are going to feel an unusual sense of emotional detachment from the people who drain you. You will feel it without trying. You will feel it without forcing. You will feel it without explaining. You will feel separation inside your energy naturally. And that is the sign heaven is clearing your path for manifestation arrival. When heaven wants to shift a chosen one into their breakthrough season, they don't always remove the person physically first. They remove them energetically first. They remove emotional attachment first. They remove subconscious loyalty first. Because the moment the emotional door closes, the enemy loses access forever. You are entering a season where you no longer need validation to believe. You no longer need apologies to heal. You no longer need closure to walk away. You no longer need evidence to move forward. You no longer need permission to rise. You have already crossed that internal threshold. And heaven is responding instantly. The enemy blocking your blessing was depending on one strategy. They assumed you would never see through them. They assumed you would never understand the pattern behind your delays. They assumed you would blame yourself forever. But now that clarity has arrived, their advantage collapses like dust and wind. Because the moment a chosen one realizes they are chosen, the enemy becomes powerless. Your purpose is now accelerating you. You may even feel a strange rise of inner fire inside you these days. That is not random adrenaline. That is destiny activation. That is your inner self finally stepping into authority. That is your higher path unlocking. That is spiritual momentum preparing to pull every miracle in your direction. The enemy sensed this activation coming before you did. That is why their interference felt stronger recently, because sabotage attacks always peak right before breakthrough hits. Heaven is telling you this clearly now. You are not entering a normal blessing season. You are entering a divine justice season, a divine recovery season, a divine repositioning season. So many things you lost emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially will return in ways you never expected. The reason you had to be delayed was because heaven needed to make sure no enemy could claim credit for what is about to manifest in your life. Heaven needed the enemy to be fully removed before the blessing landed, so that when the miracle arrives, there is no confusion about source. From this moment forward, your intuition will become your compass. Your spirit will lead, your instincts will guide, and heaven will amplify every internal yes inside you and silence every internal no that does not align with your purpose. You are stepping into a phase where the right people will start entering your life naturally without forcing anything. You will meet souls who celebrate your rise, not compete with it. You will meet souls who give without calculating. You will meet souls who are comfortable with your elevation. You will meet souls who don't need to lower you to feel worthy, because in your next chapters, heaven is surrounding you with destiny-aligned hearts only. This is the upgrade. This is the clean space your blessing needs. This is the purified ground where manifestation grows rapidly. The person who blocked your blessing will start noticing your energy shift soon. They will not understand what is happening, but they will feel distance forming. They will feel your vibration rising above their influence. They will feel your confidence no longer controlled by their presence, and they will try to reattach themselves emotionally. They may compliment you suddenly. They may reach out unexpectedly. They may try to remind you of old memories. They may try to rebuild trust again. But you will no longer respond the same, because your spirit will instantly recognize their energy. Now this next season is a season of identity upgrade. You are becoming the person heaven designed you to be before interference entered your journey. You are becoming aligned with your higher destiny, calling. You are becoming strong in silence. You are becoming unstoppable in purpose. You are becoming unbreakable in spirit, and the path you are stepping into is protected, sealed, and guarded by Archangel Michael. No enemy can interfere anymore. Now listen carefully before part 5 begins. The more you step into your power, the faster your blessings multiply. The more you detach from emotional sabotage, the more miracles accelerate into your timeline. The more you recognize your value, the more doors open automatically. My beloved child, this part begins with a new realization inside your spirit. You are not who you were 1 month ago. You are not who you were 1 year ago. You are not even who you were yesterday. You evolved silently. You transformed quietly. You grew without announcing your transformation. You shifted into a higher spiritual dimension without anyone noticing the exact moment it happened. And this is exactly why the enemy who tried to block you cannot stop you anymore. Your tactics were built to trap the older version of you, not the awakened version you have stepped into today. They were prepared for someone who still doubted, someone who still needed validation, someone who still feared losing connection, someone who still needed emotional confirmation from others before taking action. But that version is gone forever. And heaven is celebrating this internal shift inside you, because this is where unstoppable destiny begins. You are not entering a season where you will have to prove yourself. You are entering a season where results will prove you without you needing to argue, defend, explain, or justify anything. You do not need to explain your growth. You do not need to explain your elevation. You do not need to explain why certain people no longer feel aligned. You do not need to explain why you suddenly feel distant from certain energies. Your spirit upgraded, your timeline upgraded, your direction upgraded, and heaven is guiding you into a destiny that finally matches your soul's capacity. Now listen carefully. The enemy blocking your blessing did not expect heaven to remove emotional influence from inside you first. They believed if they could remain close to your heart, they could control your decisions without needing to openly interfere. They believe if they could make you hesitate at the exact moment a breakthrough was manifesting, they could keep you delayed long enough to weaken your belief. But heaven already stepped into that emotional space. Heaven has taken over the mental field where doubt used to live. Heaven has sealed access points where insecurity used to sneak in, quietly. This is why you are starting to feel emotionally stronger in ways you cannot explain logically. This is the shift. This is the divine reset. This is the spiritual reprogramming heaven initiated so that sabotage cannot influence your next chapter at all. Archangel Michael says this new phase is not only about exposure. It is also about restoration, acceleration, multiplication, and divine delivery of promises. The original timeline of your blessing is being switched back into alignment. Every interference delay is being erased. Every negative intention is losing power. Every hidden energy interference is dissolving. Your blessing is being fast-tracked. The same way stolen time is restored in heaven's dimension. You are stepping into a timeline that was always meant for you, but was paused because your heart was not yet prepared to hold the weight of what you prayed for. This next season will feel like sudden upgrades, sudden clarity, sudden opportunities, sudden inner strength, sudden direction, sudden emotional peace. You will not feel confused about what decision to make anymore. You will not fear the unknown anymore. You will not overthink your next step anymore. You will not question your own value anymore. Because heaven is replacing emotional overthinking with intuitive confidence. An intuitive confidence is unbreakable because it is not built from ego. It is built from alignment. Your blessing will not be subtle. Your blessing will not arrive quietly. Your blessing will not feel small or incomplete. Your blessing will arrive in a form that shocks even you. Because heaven is not sending the version you imagine. Heaven is sending the version that was written. This is why you had to go through emotional refinement first. This is why you had to lose certain attachments before receiving this breakthrough. Heaven does not send high-frequency blessings into low-frequency environments. Heaven first clears the environment. There is someone who will witness your rise and pretend they always believed in you. But your spirit will not forget what heaven has shown you. You will respond wisely. You will stay detached. You will stay aligned. You will not argue with anyone who tries to rewrite history. You will not fight anyone who once doubted you. You will not waste energy explaining your transformation because heaven is sending you into a level where your elevation becomes your response. Your success becomes your clarity. Your new reality becomes your proof. This is divine reversal. You may wake up one morning and feel like everything is suddenly starting to make sense. That is heaven synchronizing your consciousness with your destiny timeline. That is heaven showing you that it was always going to be you. That is heaven confirming that the battle was never to break you. The battle was to prepare the future version of you who could hold everything that is coming without collapsing from pressure. And now that version of you exists now. Pay very close attention before we move into the next revelation. Your blessing needed a stronger version of you. So the blessing stays protected after it arrives. And now that stronger version exists. Heaven is not waiting any longer. What you are stepping into is bigger than what they tried to block. What you are about to receive is more powerful than what they tried to delay. And what heaven is releasing will not only bless you, it will shift people connected to you forward in ways they never expected. Share this message right now because this part is where destiny alignment becomes unstoppable. Comment down below, so this message can reach more chosen souls. Subscribe because the next part is the most crucial activation of this entire revelation saga. My beloved child, this part begins with a realization that the world does not change because you asked it to. The world changes because heaven made a decision that the time for your injustice to continue has expired. There are cycles that break only through divine force, not through human effort. There are breakthroughs that arrive not through planning but through spiritual reversals. There are moments in destiny where something invisible suddenly starts controlling the physical reality around your life. And you are stepping into that exact moment right now. This is the moment where your past stops having permission to influence your next chapter. This is the moment where heaven steps ahead of you to prepare the road before your feet even touch the path. This is the moment where your name starts moving in rooms you haven't entered yet. This is the moment where divine justice begins showing itself in ways that leave no one in doubt about where your blessing is coming from. For so long you carried the weight of feeling unseen, unheard, unvalued, misunderstood, and underestimated. You kept saying to yourself, "I know I am meant for more, but why is nothing opening?" You questioned your path so many times. You wondered if you misunderstood signs. You wondered if your timing was off. You wondered if maybe your destiny was overhyped by your own hope. But heaven reveals now you were not wrong. Your intuition was not wrong. Your soul was not wrong. Your feeling that something major was destined for you was not fantasy. It was prophecy. It was alignment. It was your spirit sensing what heaven already sealed in the invisible realm. You were not delayed because you weren't meant for it. You were delayed because heaven refused to let the wrong connection stand next to a blessing of this magnitude. The enemy who tried to block you will soon watch the exact door they tried to keep shut burst open. They will watch you enter rooms they secretly prayed you would never access. They will see you receive blessings they told themselves you could never maintain. They will witness miracles in your timeline that are not normal, predictable, or explainable. They will experience something worse than losing control over your destiny. They will experience invisibility while watching heaven promote you publicly. Archangel Michael says, every time you felt stuck, heaven was not ignoring you, heaven was preparing your landing. Heaven was positioning angels around you. Heaven was neutralizing sabotage behind the scenes. There were meetings in the spirit held about your future that you never knew existed. There were divine decisions signed over your path while you were sleeping. There were protections applied to your name while you were doubting yourself. You survived spiritual warfare you didn't even know was happening. This is why this blessing that is coming is not random. It is overdue. Divine settlement. And now you will start noticing signs in the physical world that confirm this shift. Someone you haven't spoken to in a long time may suddenly reappear out of nowhere. An opportunity that was stuck for months may suddenly open without warning. A situation that looked hopeless will suddenly show a breakthrough crack. You will feel life responding to you differently. You will feel energy moving around your name differently. You will feel timelines rearranging without effort. This is the flip moment. This is the moment where heaven makes the universe rearrange itself to carry out divine orders. You are no longer chasing blessing. Blessings are now moving toward you. There will be doors that open that you didn't even ask for. There will be confirmations that come without you requesting them. There will be messages that arrive right when you need them. There will be people who come forward at the exact second heaven wants alignment to occur. There will be sudden acceleration that shocks even you. Because when heaven decides you are ready, heaven sends abundance that does not match your past. Heaven sends results that make no logical sense. Heaven sends breakthroughs that write history. This next chapter is not about you recovering emotionally. This next chapter is about you being rewarded spiritually. You paid for this level through battles no one saw. You earned this phase through pain that nearly crushed you. You grew into this version through heartbreak that forced you to rise. You matured through silence that made you question your purpose. But every moment was building you. Every tear was strengthening you. Every setback was forming a foundation that cannot collapse again. You might feel like you don't even react to negativity the same anymore. You might notice your spirit does not panic the way it used to. You might see that your nervous system does not break down under pressure like before. This is because heaven upgraded your internal system to match the blessings coming. The version of you that is rising now is match fit for the next level. The version of you being activated now can hold miracles without losing identity or control. The version of you emerging now understands that destiny is not something you chase. Destiny is something you grow into, and you have grown into it. There are people who doubted you who will not understand how you got here. They will assume someone helped you. They will assume you got lucky. They will assume you received something you didn't earn, but heaven knows the real truth. Heaven knows the battles you fought in silence. Heaven knows the nights you cried alone. Heaven knows the faith you held even when nothing was happening. Heaven knows how many times you wanted to quit but still remain loyal to your calling. Heaven knows how many times you broke quietly but still kept believing something bigger was aligned for you. Heaven does not reward perfect people. Heaven rewards prepared hearts. Your heart is prepared. Your soul is aligned, your destiny is engaged. The enemy is exposed. The block has been removed. The path is open. This is the part where your blessing is not just promised. It begins manifesting into motion. Something's huge is waiting for you in the next part. My beloved child, this part opens differently because now the atmosphere around your life has already started responding to the command heaven released. This is not energetic potential anymore. This is not preparational alignment anymore. This is the beginning of divine materialization. This is where the words heaven wrote over your future start turning into visible, undeniable physical reality. You have reached the stage where blessings stop being ideas and start becoming outcomes. You have reached the stage where your destiny stops being a future promise and starts becoming present evidence. You are entering the stage where what heaven whispered in private is about to echo loudly in public. The enemy who tried to delay your rise will not be able to avoid seeing this part unfold. They will not have the privilege of being blind to your elevation. Heaven is making sure your breakthrough is not silent anymore. Heaven is making sure the blessing is not quiet anymore. Heaven is making sure your next level is seen, felt, heard, and recognized. Right now in this transition moment, heaven is rearranging people, circumstances, connections, offers, opportunities, and timelines around you like puzzle pieces finally locking into formation. You will feel it like life is suddenly cooperating with you instead of resisting you. You will feel it like doors are not forcing themselves shut anymore, but opening as if they were waiting for you specifically. You will feel it like the universe is suddenly matching your frequency effortlessly. And the reason is simple. Your heart is finally clean from hidden warfare. Your mind is finally free from invisible interference. Your soul is finally allowed to rise without being spiritually suppressed. The enemy cannot reattach. The enemy cannot disguise anymore. Their identity has been exposed in spirit. And that exposure cannot be undone. That mask cannot be rebuilt. That access cannot be recovered. Archangel Michael says, heaven is giving you the type of elevation where you will not need to chase recognition. Recognition will naturally follow manifestation. You will not need to prove transformation. Transformation will be visible without words. You will not need to fight anyone to validate your next level. The blessing itself will become the validation. The results will become the validation. The blessings will speak louder than explanations ever could. Heaven is not only vindicating you privately, heaven is about to reward you publicly. This is where destiny rewrites your storyline. The same timeline that once felt like slow motion begins accelerating fast. You will see the pace of your life change. You will feel momentum building without force. You will notice that what used to take months suddenly takes days. What used to require struggle suddenly requires acceptance. What used to exhaust you mentally now becomes effortless. These are the signs that you are stepping deeper into alignment. And once alignment forms, manifestation does not require hustle. Manifestation requires trust. Manifestation requires flow. Manifestation requires belief without fear attached. This next phase is where divine justice becomes active. Everything that was taken emotionally, spiritually, relationally, or energetically will return in forms far greater than what you lost. You will not be compensated equally. You will be compensated abundantly. You will not be given back what was stolen. New will be elevated above what was stolen. This is not compensation. This is recompensation. Heaven does not return what was taken. Heaven multiplies what was taken and gives you back more than the enemy ever expected you to handle. This type of justice cannot be blocked, interfered with, or slowed. Heaven has initiated irreversible momentum. People who once doubted your potential will start speaking your name with shock. People who once underestimated you will feel the shift. People who once carried silent jealousy will feel intimidated by your growth. People who once thought they could outrun you will realize they already lost because destiny already accelerated you beyond their imagination. You are not just entering a new chapter. You are entering a new dimension of purpose where doors are opened by divine keys only heaven has access to. Your energy will become magnetic. You will attract aligned connections effortlessly. You will attract opportunities that match your identity and not your old wounds. You will attract clarity, direction, stability, and divine help without searching desperately for it. This is why heaven needed to expose the enemy first. Because if heaven released blessings while you were still emotionally attached to sabotage, the blessing would have been contaminated. But now the contamination has been removed. This is where your authority becomes your shield. You will not fight spiritual warfare the same way anymore. You will not collapse under emotional weight the same way anymore. You will not lose confidence when circumstances shift unexpectedly anymore. You will respond from strength, not fear. You will move from alignment, not insecurity. Because your spirit is not fighting to become strong anymore. Your spirit already is strong. You pass the hardest parts without knowing they were tests. Because chosen ones are trained during real battles, not hypothetical lessons. This is the irreversible breakthrough zone. Nothing can push you back. Nothing can reverse this activation. Nothing can sow this momentum. Heaven has already decided. Your destiny is already locked in. This elevation cannot be undone. Watch next revelation. My beloved child, this part opens with a truth that might feel overwhelming at first, but it is the most powerful part of everything that has unfolded up to this point. The spiritual system around your destiny is already rearranging itself ahead of your physical movement. What was once blocked now begins clearing on its own. What was once slow now begins accelerating without you forcing anything. This is the moment where heaven stops asking you to carry the battle and starts carrying the battle for you. This is the moment where the universe begins protecting you from threats you cannot see yet. This is the moment where divine energy starts releasing blessings that were stored, preserved, held back, and kept in spiritual vaults until the exact moment heaven deemed you ready. And that moment is now. Archangel Michael says, "Heaven waited until your heart reached this exact level of inner alignment because blessings that are given too early can destroy the receiver. But blessings that are given at the right moment become unstoppable. Force fields that protect destiny while amplifying purpose. You endured seasons that nearly broke you. You survived endings that drained you. You endured betrayals that changed you. You walked through emotional losses that made you think nothing would ever make sense again. But heaven watched you stay soft, even when pain tried to harden you. You did not allow darkness to write your soul. You did not allow bitterness to corrupt your intention. You did not let disappointment become your identity. And because of that, heaven is trusting you with blessings that cannot be misused or destroyed. You are entering a divine flow phase. This is when things start coming to you without resistance. This is when the right people find you. This is when the right connections align without search. This is when opportunities that are designed for your sole purpose begin landing gently inside your timeline. You will feel like your life begins harmonizing instead of constantly fighting friction. You will feel like peace becomes your default state, not something you chase desperately. You will feel like solutions find you before problems can overwhelm you. This is not because life became easier. This is because you became a line. The person who tried to block your blessing was operating on the old version of you. They underestimated how fast you would outgrow the chains they tried to wrap around your destiny. They thought their subtle discouragement would permanently anchor you in doubt. They thought low-frequency interference would keep you stuck at low elevation. They thought silent manipulation would keep you questioning your worth. But instead of making you weak, their negativity made you wise. Instead of blocking your path, they triggered your awakening. Instead of controlling your direction, they accidentally activated your destiny shift. And now the very person who tried to slow your blessing will watch heaven elevate you beyond reach. In this next chapter, you will realize something extremely important. The more unbothered you become, the more you attract, the more you detach from needing validation, the more validation naturally finds you. The more you stop chasing approval, the more doors open in your favor because energetic desperation creates delay and energetic confidence attracts alignment. You are stepping into the timeline where your energy is no longer leaking through emotional fear. You are stepping into the timeline where your spirit stands tall without having to prove anything. That is when manifestation becomes powerful. That is when doors open instantly. That is when timelines collapse into divine speed. You will soon witness people who once overlooked you start acting like they suddenly recognize your value. You will witness people who ignored your presence start trying to reconnect. You will witness moments where those who doubted you will try to attach themselves to your rising identity, but you will not be fooled anymore. You will not be emotionally manipulated anymore. You will not mistake familiar energy for safe energy anymore. You will not confuse shared history with alignment anymore. Because heaven has trained your intuition, not just your mind. Heaven has sharpened your spirit, not just your logic. Heaven has strengthened your discernment, not just your personality. You are stepping into a spiritual frequency where nothing can pretend in front of you anymore. You will instantly recognize when intention is pure. You will instantly feel when a person's energy is off. You will instantly sense when someone is trying to benefit from your rise rather than celebrate it. This is not paranoia. This is not fear. This is spiritual maturity. This is energetic mastery. This is the reward of every silent battle you fought alone when no one understood your emotional exhaustion. In this next phase of your story, heaven is elevating you so much that blessings are going to become normal for you. Not occasional, not rare, not unexpected, but normal. Blessings will become your baseline reality, not a once-in-a-while surprise. Because now heaven knows you will protect the blessing, not sabotage it. Heaven knows you will guard your energy, not waste it. Heaven knows you will choose alignment, not attachment. Heaven knows you will honor the divine guidance within you, not the emotional noise around you. This is where your destiny becomes magnetic. This is where your presence changes rooms before you speak. This is where people sense something divine around you without knowing why. This is where the universe begins rearranging pathways to match what heaven already decided over your life. This is where manifestation becomes instantaneous reality. This is where you no longer fear loss because you finally understand that anything meant for you is protected by heaven itself and anything taken from you was removed because it could not walk into your next level. This is not imagination. This is not hope. This is not fantasy. This is the part where your life begins matching your spiritual calling. Watch next revelation. My beloved child, this moment begins a new reality for you. The enemy is exposed. Your influence is gone. Your destiny is no longer blocked. You are now stepping into a season where heaven accelerates everything that belongs to you. You will rise quietly but powerfully. You will receive blessings that prove every delay and purpose. Nothing can interfere and more. Nothing can steal what is already sealed. You have crossed into divine momentum and there is no going backward. Your breakthrough is real, active and unfolding now. This is your confirmation. This is your shift. This is your new timeline forever.